Welcome to the presentation on the financial sustainability of energy initiatives. In this session, we will explore how innovative projects across UAE, from solar power and water recycle to waste reduction, public transport, and steel recycling. Table of Table of content. What all I will cover in this PPT are exclusive summary, introduction, approach and methodology, key takeaways, findings, recommendations, conclusion, appendix, and references. Let's begin with solar energy. Solar plants plays a crucial role in generating clear renewable electricity, reducing dependency on fossil fuel and cutting carbon emission. They also offer long-term cost saving and greater energy securing for both cities and rural area. In the UAE, two major players leads this transformation. Dubai Electricity and Water Authority, DEWA, and Mesger. They depends on variety of technologies, photovoltaic system which connect sunlight directly to electricity, concentrated solar power or CSP, which used mirror to focus sunlight into heat that drives turbines. Floating solar system installed on reservoirs to save land and reduce water loss. And hybrid solar solution combining solar plants with batteries for reliable power at all time. Slightly slow solar power require a higher initial investment, around 2.75 billion AED compared to fossil fuel generation. However, its operating costs are far low, about 320 million AED versus nearly 900 million for gas system. Over 25 years, the initiative avoids about 2.8 million tons of carbon dioxide, achieves a net present value of 4.35 billion AED, and payback period of about 7.5 years, with a marginal abandonment cost of just 1555 AED per ton of carbon dioxide. Solar energy stands out as one of the most cost efficient climate solution. Next, we move to the alternative water use. This initiative addresses one of the UAE's most pressing challenges, water scarcity. It focuses on reducing and recycling water to reduce stress on freshwater reserves and desalination plants. Key technologies includes grey water recycling from sinks and showers, treated sewage effluent reduce for landscaping and cooling, rainwater harvesting and desalination powered by renewable energy. Organizations like DEWA and Abu Dhabi Distribution Company are leading this effort. Finally, financially, the total capital expenditure stands at 1.25 billion AED and operating cost at 460 million over 25 years. The project yield a positive NPV of 520 million AED and an initial rate of return of 12%. Environmentally, it prevents for 20,000 tons of carbon dioxide emission, mainly from reducing the energy demand for distillation. The optimal investment strategy focus on large scale municipal and industrial reuse system, which are far more efficient than small scale residential system. Overall, alternative water use provide moderate cost but high value sustainable outcomes, reinforcing the UAE's commitment of SDG 6 clean and water sanitation. Our third initiative focus on reducing plastic and paper waste. Every year UAE produce about 1.2 million ton of such waste, yet less than a quarter is recycled. This initiative aims to change that thought. Recycling programs, biodegradation alternatives, waste segregation system and public awareness campaigns. Major contribution including Dubai municipality and BIA in Sharjah. The total project cost is around 980 million AED in capex and 350 million AED in opex over 2 decades. It achieved an impressive NPV of 1.18 billion AED with a return of investment of 1.7. Environmentally, it cuts about 510,000 tons of carbon dioxide emission by reducing landfill waste and the need of virgin material. This initiative is not only financially sound but also socially transformative, encouraging recycling habits, supporting green businesses, and advancing the UAE's circular economy policy of 2031. The fourth pillar is public transport. Electrifying buses, taxis, and shuttles plays a key role in cutting urban pollution and traffic related emission. Under the business as usual model, diesel vehicle would emit about 150,000 ton of carbon dioxide per year. With electric mobility, emission dropped to about 105,000 ton, a reduction of nearly 30%. Although the capex is higher, 3.82 billion AED compared to 3.55 billion for diesel fleets. The OPEX is much lower at 6.3 billion versus 9.8 billion. Over time, fuel saving and lower maintenance make electric buses the more economical choice. The project NPV of 2.62 billion AED confirms it financially viable. Marginal abandonment cost of 4,295 AED ton position it to a moderate cost but high impact measure. Socially, Socially, the transition created about 4,000 new jobs, improves air quality, and align with the Dubai Clean Energy Strategy of 2050. Together, these benefits showcase how green mobility drives both environmental program and economy opportunity. Our fifth initiative examines steel recycling. Steel production is highly energy intensive, but recycling can save up to 70% of that energy while cutting emission by 58% per ton of steel. In the UAE, leads like Emirates Steel, Arkan, and Union Iron and Steel Company are are investing in magnetic separation system to recover scrap, electricity and arc furnaces which melt recycled steel using electricity rather than coal, and an hull based sorting system for better efficiency. Setting up such facilities cost around 145 to 220 million AED for a medium sized plant. However, the payback period is only 5 to 7 years due to significant energy saving. The the initiative reduced emission by 4.8 million tons of CO2 and offers a cost advantage of US to 530 to 730 per ton compared to new steel production. Beyond economics, the project creates green jobs and strengthens the UAE's circular economy and net zero 2050 objectives. To reach these findings, we employed a clear two methodologies. First, we estimated the business usual baseline, identifying and calculating the major capex, opex, and net present value and CO2 emission. Second, we calculated the same financial and environmental metrics for the initiative cases, researching implementation cost, comparing findings with industry baseline, and calculating the corresponding NPV, MAC, and CO2 abatement. This is the BAU capex of initiatives and their estimate cost. This bar chart describes about the BAU capex for solar plant and the cost it incurred. This is the BAU OPEX for the electricity cost and their estimated cost. Capex and their cost estimation. This is the bar graph of capital expenditure for street lightings. This slide shows about the NPV of alternative water use initiative, which talks about the comparison between NPV of DEWA, AADC, and grey water system. This graph shows about the NPV breakdown of alternative water use. Talking about the slide, which shows a line chart which represent optimal investment scenario and overall project and the comparison between the both. These slide this slide talks about the ROI, IRR, and PI of finding of water efficient appliances. This slide shows about the comparison between capex, demolition, and waste treatment. This line graph talks about the CO2 emission reduction in Dubai for public transport from year 2025 to 2035. This is the comparison between CO2 emission of BAU versus electric mobility initiatives. Social cost benefit analysis capex. This talks about the electric buses and vehicles and how much cost is being incurred and the benefit such as job creation, air quality, and health. This is the OPEX chart of public transportation. Social cost benefit analysis OPEX. This talks about how much the employment is being generated and the ordinary cost which is being incurred in this project and reduction of carbon dioxide. This line graph talks about the marginal amendment cost curve for UAE public transportation measures. This is the explanation of marginal amendment cost curve for public transport. Talking about electric bus which have low marginal cost of about AED 367 per ton of CO2, whereas hydrogen bus have 183.5 to 110, and battery swapping have 73.4 per ton. This line graph shows about the economic benefit of Etihad rail project. Economic benefit of Etihad railway project, which talks about the reduce in transportation cost, reduce in road accidents, and also reduce in road maintenance. This is the capex analysis for the recycling steel. The estimated cost range for this project might be between AED 147 to 220 million at a minimum medium scale factory, and consumption of energy is being reduced by 60 to 70% and reducing lifetime cost by 30 to 40%, and the payback period of this project is around 5 to 7 years. This slide shows out the expected impact of recycled steel initiative on environmental, economic, and social and sustainability. Capex for our large scale solar PV installation is estimated to be AED 1.75 billion. The OPEX for solar optimization is significantly lower, estimated at AED 320 million. Over its 25 years lifetime, the solar plant initiative achieved a significant emission abatement of approximately 2.8 million tons of CO2e. The NPV of the project is AED 4.35 billion with a favorable payback period of 7.5 years. And the marginal amendment cost or MAC for solar power to be 1555 AED per ton of CO2e. Findings for the alternative water use. The capex for the infrastructure comparing grey water recycling tend to be AED 1.25 billion, and the OPEX is estimated at AED 460 million across the period of 25 years. The project have a net present value of an AED 520 million and a rate of return of 12%. The marginal amendment cost curve is said to be 3050 AED ton of CO2 for the particular project, and the SDGs 6, which is clean water and sanitation. These are the findings for the plastic and paper waste reduction, where the capex of the project is estimated as AED 980 million and OPEX is to be 350 million over the next 25 years. The NPV of the project is 1.8 billion, and whereas the return on investment is said to be 1.7, confirming in the long term period. The max stands at 1975 AD ton of CO2e. The findings for the public transportation are: the capex for electric buses is significantly higher than the diesel alternatives, to be AED 3.82 billion compared to AED 3.55 billion under the BAU scenario. Whereas talking about the OPEX for the electric bus operation, total of AED 6.3 billion, significantly lower than AED 9.8 billion for the diesel operations. And there will be the reduction in emission of the carbon dioxide in the period of next 25 years. The net present value for this initiative is said to be AED 2.62 billion, confirming a strong long-term perspective, and the marginal amendment cost MAC is calculated at 4,295 AED per ton of CO2e. The electrification program supports the key policy framework, including the Dubai Clean Energy Strategy of 2050. The findings for the recycled steel are: it follows within the low cost, high impact category on the National Marginal Abatement Cost Curve MAC. The capex for settling up advanced electric arc furnaces is said to be AED 2.6 billion, and whereas the OPEX for the project is said to be 11.11 billion. Over a 25-year of life cycle, the use of recycled steel yield an emission reduction of approximately 4.8 million tons of CO2e, primarily through the displacement of virgin iron ore, smelting, and reducing fossil fuel consumption. In conclusion, the financial and the environmental assessment of these five initiatives provides a powerful unified message. Environmental sustainability and financial profitability can and do coexist. All project shows positive financial performance, NPV, and strong emission reduction potential. To summarize the key metrics, solar plants often the highest overall emission reduction potential, 2.8 million ton CO2, and the most cost efficient solution. Alternative water use provide crucial water security, achieving a positive NPV of 520 million. Plastic and paper waste reduction promotes the circular economy with a strong NPV of AED 1.18 billion. Public transport electrification contributes significant CO2 reduction of 610,000 ton CO2e with a higher NPV of AED 2.62 billion. Collectively, these investments are not just about reducing carbon, they yield measurable benefit including lower operational cost, improved resources efficiency, and enhanced public well-being. Moving forward, the integrated implementation of these projects supported by smart technologies, public private partnership PPP, and clear regulatory framework will ensure the delivery enduring economic, social, and environmental values for future generation. Thank you.